Well, hello, friends. We're back on the tube you after a day away. I am the mullet man, Jeremy Greene. He is the Canadian David Smith. And it's time to talk some fantasy football and not talk about how god-awful my team is.
That's all right. We don't need to.
Congratulations on your second win over my team this year, in which you've scored one offensive touchdown.
Did we really win, though? The only one that won there is the guys who are getting paid, because it wasn't me watching that game.
It was painful. I watched it with a slew of Jet fans in a bar and then managed to drink $121 of domestic lights.
It was an ugly game.
I don't know how well you know what a domestic light costs in America, but to give you a hint, it's not $11.
No.
There were a lot. My nose is still red. I mean, I look like Gary Busey right now.
That's the sound the bear makes.
It's also cold as hell outside.
We're up and down. They can't figure out if it wants to be winter here or not, but it is what it is. Some places it snowed today, and that's gross.
So happy first time ever that the winner of the Millionaire didn't break 200 points. Let's go.
Wow. It was an awful. I had a great start to fantasy, to DFS. My Jacoby Brissett, Amari Cooper stack, chef's kiss, and then the Cowboys took a big old
dookie
in that punch
grumper, right on that Dalvin Cook, right on that Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Have you seen the lineup that actually won the Millionaire?
No.
I'm pulling it up now. How many do you think you could get?
Maybe 2. Maybe.
Well, that's my lineup. I certainly didn't win it. All right, fire away.
Did they have Jacoby Brissett?
They did.
Yeah. Did they have Amari Cooper?
They did.
Did they have Tony Pollard?
They did.
Yeah.
It's 3 for 3. Gets a little harder from here.
Gabe Davis?
Nope.
I don't even know where to go from here.
Cordero Patterson.
Of course, yeah.
T. Chiggins. Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah.
Tyler Conklin, who had 2 catches for 15 yards. Devin Singletary and the Washington Commanders. That won you $1 million US.
Well, listen, I had 3 of those guys in lineups.
I did too.
2 of them were all together, and the 3 that I had, I named. I did have T. Chiggins in a lineup in one, but not with anybody else that mattered, so it didn't matter.
Isn't that always fun? I told you that I guarantee you my player pool would be very good. I thought it would win. I also underestimated how bad of a day it would be.
Yep.
And I was right. I had a Jacoby Brissett lineup with Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I had a share of Tony Pollard.
Yep.
And then there wasn't a whole lot to write home about after that.
No. It's pretty ugly. We were there.
But we do have fantasy relevant news. Melvin Gordon no longer a Denver Bronco. Let's go.
Who's going to land on that grenade? Because someone always does.
Oh God. Melvin Gordon. I could see it being the Jets. I don't see a bad team claiming him.
No, it'll be a contender.
But I can see a slew of contenders.
Right? It's a depth play for a contender, right? Like Buffalo goes out and gets them. They don't need them.
Please don't do that. Buffalo, please God, don't do that.
Baltimore, where they can't keep backs healthy.
Baltimore makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Baltimore's the one that I looked at and went, yeah, I could see.
Someone's going to pick him up. Someone's going to pick him up. Am I wrong in thinking that? No.
Like, is there any place Melvin Gordon could go that you go, yeah, let me, I want to do that?
No.
I want the guy that can't hold on to a football.
Nope. He got the fumbleitis. Got the fumbleitis real bad.
I think the part of this that actually intrigues me is Latavius Murray.
I don't hate that at all.
I mean, do you know another running back on that Denver roster right now?
No.
Because Chase Edmonds is hurt.
Yeah, and so is, what's his name? Javonte Williams is hurt.
Javonte Williams is hurt. Mike Boone is hurt. Right now they have two. It's Latavius Murray and Marlon Mack.
Oh, hey, remember that guy?
Remember when he was – how old is Marlon Mack right now?
26.
That is exactly right.
You
did that so much better than I did.
I'm gonna tell you why I knew that, because I was long of the belief that if Jonathan Taylor hadn't landed in Indianapolis, that Marlon Mack would still be a starting level running back. But he lost his job to injury, which is awful. And then he came back, and it's like, yeah, but now we got Jonathan Taylor, so like you're just there. I'm glad he got out of it, but give the man a chance. I think he's still a viable back somewhere. He's got to be.
I could argue he's now the best running back in Denver, and I'm not sure that I care.
I don't care about anything in Denver right now.
I feel like you have to pick up Latavius Murray, even if you don't feel awesome about it.
That's gross.
Like, I feel like you hit that button and your phone immediately goes, are you sure? Are you sure you want to do this? Latavius Murray's 30% rostered in leagues.
Are you taking Latavius Murray or are you taking Samaje Perine? Because the Bengals schedule is dookie.
Awful.
For the playoffs. However, Samaje Perine is a like pass catching back who's going to get work most assuredly. And not to mention he's like mega tutty heavy right now. He was the guy. He was it. And, you know, Mixon's likely out this week. I don't know if they've confirmed it or not, but he was in the concussion protocol. I think it would be really surprising to see him this week.
I would agree.
So Perine is I wouldn't call him the free space on the board because it's not going to be a friendly game. What do they got? Tennessee this week?
Yes.
So it's not going to be a super friendly game, but he's going to get the opportunity.
Well, the question for me is, would you rather have Latavius Murray up against a just god-awful schedule in the playoffs? Fantasy playoffs. Denver's not coming anywhere near the real playoffs.
No.
Or do you take the risk on Samaje Perine if this lingers for Joe Mixon? Which I know that sounds weird, but you have to realize that does happen sometimes. It's not
Sidney Crosby had a concussion and was out for like 6 months in the NHL with just lingering issues. Sometimes they're quick, sometimes they're not. We don't really get it. Also, hashtag not a doctor. So I would probably lean Perine because I like his hands better. I like the way they use them better.
I would lean Latavius Murray, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is a week that I'm just not touching a running back.
I don't blame you at all.
Because there is a wide receiver that I want all the times.
Is it Treylon Burks?
It is Treylon Burks.
See, I knew this. This is why we do the show, because same page.
You remember when the draft happened and I said Treylon Burks is really good at football and he's going to look a lot like A.J. Brown?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, did you notice that this week against the Green Bay Packers, he looked a lot like A.J. Brown?
They made Ryan Tannehill look like a above average quarterback.
Now, here is where I am curious to see how close you can get on this.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to isolate it in the server now. How many snaps did Treylon Burks play? The Titans ran 66 offensive plays. How many did Treylon Burks play?
38.
You're too high.
Yeah, I was going to say it's 20-something, isn't it?
It's 33.
33. Christ.
33 offensive snaps. Nick Westbrook-Akina is still running as the de facto 2. Robert Woods is the 1 because they can leave him. He's one of the best run-blocking receivers in the league, so they can just leave him in.
Yep, that makes sense.
I feel like that Treylon Burks, as he reacclimates, I mean, you got to realize it's just his second game back.
Yes.
It's only his 6th game he's played all year.
Yep.
but I don't necessarily know that snap count's ever going to get above 40.
No, I don't think it is either. But I still like it.
And I'm going to be honest, I do too. In 33 snaps, he had 8 targets. There's not many receivers that have a 25% target share.
No, there isn't.
But I feel like Treylon Burks is going to have that even if he doesn't play the snaps. I've always said snaps equal opportunity. If you're not getting the snaps, then the chances of you being fantasy relevant are very small. I'm not sure that that's not the case with Treylon Burks.
I like I just made a claim on Treylon Burks there because every time we do the show, I look at my phone after and everybody's already made their claims and I'm like, son of a bitch. I really think the Treylon Burks opportunity is not going to be snap count dependent.
I would agree.
When
he's on the field, he's going to be good.
It wasn't with AJ Brown when he was there either. To be fair, like he wasn't. AJ Brown was. He'll get a target. He'll get a standard amount of targets. He'll get, let's call it 8 to 10 a game, regardless of snap count. What he does with those is going to be completely up to him, and I think he's talented enough to make something happen of it. But I think he gets, it's probably closer to 12 targets a game at this rate, especially coming into the playoffs where you're closer. Tennessee is looking to close out that division. You're going to try and save some legs on Henry. They're going to be throwing the ball when they can, especially.
They're also going to try to get Treylon Burks acclimated, and they have just a beautiful playoff schedule.
Yeah.
4 weeks of the fantasy playoffs, depending on how your league runs. They play the Jaguars, Chargers, Texans, Cowboys.
Yeah.
And if for some reason your league goes into week 18, which it shouldn't, they play the Jaguars again.
Yeah.
I don't know what more I could ask for.
No, nothing.
So to me, he's the number one waiver claim of the week.
I would agree.
And I'm not sure it's all that close.
No.
If there was a receiver in the ballpark, if there was a legitimate 2 that you would chase this week, who is it?
DPJ, maybe?
For me, it's him or Darius Slayton.
Darius Slayton is interesting. I worry about his immediate matchup.
Well,
I know he's the slot guy.
He's also the only receiver left on the team.
Yes, he is.
Because now Wan'Dale Robinson's torn his ACL. He's done for the year. R.I.P. Wan'Dale Robinson rookie breakout, which was totally in the process of happening.
Loved the Wan'Dale love. We were all over Wan'Dale early.
Because he a dog.
Yes, he is.
But now he's a hurt dog.
Now he's hurt. Yeah, that doesn't help us.
I would have Slayton at 2 and DPJ at 3. And DPJ,
I'm okay with Slayton.
DPJ slides me into another conversation. Is this the week you have to go get Deshaun Watson?
We're getting real close to there, aren't we?
I mean, he's 42% owned. So there's a 50-50 chance in your league that it's already happened.
There's a great in my leagues. It's definitely happened because I don't play with children.
It's happened in mine too because I'm in my leagues.
You're the one, yeah.
I have him everywhere, and I think he will. Where is he rest of season ranking for you?
Top 10, might be 8.
I just updated my rest of season rankings. I have Josh Allen ahead of him. I have Pat Mahomes ahead of him. Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. So he's 7.
Yeah, 7.
He's 7, and I think it's a nice set of matchups. If he's still available really in your leagues, that should be the guy you're in on right now.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't know how it's not all that close, to be honest with you. They're gonna roll them out, and regardless of their position, which is not all that great. Like, let's be honest, the Browns aren't doing anything spectacular here, but
no, but you have to remember they don't have their first round pick, so they have no incentive to lose.
No, well, yeah, that's what I was going to get at here is I don't think that they are going to tank. I think that they're going to try and get Deshaun as acclimated to the offense and really try to give their fans a peek of look at what we could be next year. There's hope, which is all Cleveland ever has is hope.
Well, right now they would be giving the 7th pick in the 2023 NFL draft to Houston.
Yeah.
If you look at what Cleveland has on the horizon, I think Deshaun Watson might be the guy that wins leagues. We have one of these guys every year.
Yeah.
Now, the playoff matchups are not great. He gets the Ravens in the first week of the fantasy playoffs, then the Saints, then the Commanders.
Yuck.
I don't love those last two, but I still think he's a top 10 quarterback.
I agree completely.
One question we have in the YouTube before we get to what has been asked of me to rant about my stupid quarterback. Alex S. says, I have Mark Andrews in my IR spot. Who do I drop? Yep. Rashad White, Jamal Williams, DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson, Greg Dulcich. Do I need 2 tight ends? I mean, if you have to drop one of those guys, personally, I'm going to drop my kicker, and I'm going to play one of these guys is going to be hurt every week.
Yeah, it's a great game to play.
Play kick the kicker. If you had to release one of them, I'll say Greg Dulcich. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you might need to drop Dulcich. You're not dropping Wilson and Jamal Williams. My spicy take is that he is the number one back there, regardless of DeAndre Swift's presence.
I'm starting to think you're right.
I don't know if they're like, at first we were like, well, yeah, he's just going to be the placeholder until Swifty's healthy. And then Swift is never healthy. And Williams is the leading touchdown scorer for running backs, I believe, or rushing touchdowns. So is he really just a placeholder, or are they actually saying maybe this is our guy for the next couple of years? I don't know.
The first 2 weeks of the year, DeAndre Swift out-touched Jamal Williams. How many times has he done it since? Or out-snapped him? Sorry, not out-touched him.
One? Maybe
once.
One? Probably none.
Week 8. It's the only time he's done it since.
Yeah.
I mean, and now Jamal's not getting a lion's share. He's still only playing 43% of team snaps.
Yeah. He's getting the red zone share, though.
It's a hell of a lot more than the 29 we're seeing out of DeAndre Swift. So I can't release Jamal Williams.
Just remember, Jerome Bettis wasn't a big yards guy, but boy, could he find the end zone.
If the Jets stick with Zach Wilson, I might release Garrett Wilson.
Take the floor. Take your few minutes, because you need to get it off your chest. It'll make you feel better.
Zach Wilson just had the worst game an NFL quarterback has had in 7 years that he didn't turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. They had 2 yards in the second half.
2?
I genuinely think a drunk Labradoodle would have been a better fucking play at quarterback than Zach Wilson was. And then to take his smug little bandana-wearing ass and come into the press conference and have the balls to look at beat writers and say, does the offense owe the defense an apology? No. Yes, you do. Because you are god-awful, you're egotistical, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm Seacrest out. I am Seacrest out. I told this team in the offseason, go get Jimmy Garoppolo when they were trying to give him away for a bag of footballs. And did you do it? No, you didn't. How good would the New York Jets be right now with Jimmy Garoppolo playing quarterback?
You'd be a contender, like one of the top 5 teams. I think you'd be a damn
favorite. I think you would be a Super Bowl favorite. You would be right there with the Chiefs and the Bills. That is how good that defense is.
Agreed.
And it would open up running lanes and all the things. Now every team you play knows you have no possibility of moving the ball down the field because Zach Wilson's a moron.
You could have QB snuck every play in the second half and had more yards.
Geno Smith could launch his next 125 passes into the crowd and still have a higher QBR than Zach Wilson.
Yes.
It's a joke. It's an unmitigated, unbelievable joke that you have a team that's this good. And I'm going to be honest with you, I am well connected with this team. There are people that are ready to be Seacrest out right now. They are ready to roll Mike White. They are ready to roll Joe Flacco. Zach Wilson, you ain't it. We missed.
How quickly can this turn on Zach Wilson? Because when I heard, I'll tell you what so obviously you and I both watched this game, as miserable as it was.
And it was quite
obviously my reaction was much happier at the end with the, BS punt return, whatever.
3 blocks in the back. No big deal.
No big deal. Listen, refs are bad.
Refs
we can
are
never, I will never, it's my biggest pet peeve whenever a fan base goes, the refs cost us the game. No, they didn't. You had no opportunity to score. You had 2 yards the whole game. Yes, they missed the plays. The refs are bad. Refs are always going to be bad. They're forever bad. They're never good. Can't blame it on them.
Oh, I have an I'm mad this afternoon for that is really not about the outcome of the game. It's it ties into Twitter and a bunch of things about officiating.
You're going to want to watch that. 3:00 are back on the YouTubes.
Yep, we're back on the YouTubes today,
and on the iHeartRadio app. Don't miss it. When I watched that game, I saw a quarterback that was lost. He just wasn't doing anything, and the amount of times that the team went backwards was incredible. It was impressive. And I heard, I was listening to Monday Night, and they were talking about how maybe Rob Sala's too much of a handcuff on Zach Wilson. And then there are other people that were talking about this and that. All I saw was a guy who wasn't taking ownership over his doo-doo kitty play. He sucked.
Awful.
And if you listen, look, people rail on Derek Carr because Derek Carr and the Raiders haven't been good. Derek Carr comes out and says, I played like shit. He'll own it.
Josh Allen does the same thing.
Josh Allen on that loss to the Vikings was like, I made a couple of bad plays. That's on me. Zach Wilson came out there and said, nah, dog, it's not me. And all I thought in that exact moment was, well, and there goes your team. They're like, you don't come back from that. You can't re-earn the locker room's trust after putting up 2 yards of offense and not allow 2 games, offensive touchdown allowed. 1.
And you lost.
And you lost both of them against a rival that, realistically you're more talented than, and for whatever reason, 14 straight. It's ridiculous that he came out and said no. If he had showed any accountability, this team would be on an upward trajectory. I am worried about the Jets the rest of the season. You have the Bears this week. And, Justin Fields is hurt, and that's your only saving grace, I think, because Mike White or Joe Flacco.
I think your saving grace is any competent, half-assed NFL quarterback makes you a playoff team. You cannot have the worst quarterback in the NFL.
No.
And that's what Zach Wilson has been.
He lost the room. He lost the guys. And when you lose the room, you're out. And we saw this with Mark Sanchez, who was a different scenario for sure. Darnold, I don't know what happened with that, but
Darnold's
another
brain
quarterback
got broken, and that team was awful.
Yes, they fed him to the wolves, and they didn't support him. I'm worried about what this does. Rob Saleh is a good defensive coach. I worry about his offensive play calling ability. I don't know if it's on the OC. I know that the quarterback isn't helping, though. I can tell you that much.
I feel like LaFleur is handcuffed by Zach Wilson. And I can tell you, I'm very well connected with Jets media. I have a lot of friends in the media up there. Yesterday, Robert Saleh went to give the Monday presser.
Yeah.
He's now done this for 2 years. He's never been a second late, ever. He was an hour plus late yesterday. They sat in the room and waited, not knowing what the hell was happening. They finally, after about 15 minutes, sent Coach Saleh is in meetings. He will be out as quickly as he can. He showed up over an hour late. And I can tell you the reason why is that team basically had we're out on Zach Wilson. The defense does not like him. They do not like his spoiled ass attitude. And if you want this team to be a playoff team, I don't care which one starts. I don't care if it's the legend that is Mike White or Joe Flacco. I don't care. I do not care which of the two plays. It cannot be Zach Wilson. And I'll say this. This is a crux for Robert Saleh. If you're the guy that's going to break the same old Jets and keep receipts and all of this shit that you've said for the last 2 months, you sit his ass down and you do not turn back.
Bears, Vikings, Bills, Lions, Jags. You have 2.5 games that are tough on that schedule. And you need to win, of those 5, 3 of them.
And I think you can. I think with Joe Flacco, if he just doesn't turn the ball over, I'll be honest with you, I would go Mike White, but that's just me.
If Joe Flacco's out, then that's fine.
I think if you propped Mike White up to the 2, you've
Sure.
basically been screaming to the rafters that you believe in Mike White. Show me. Because I believe the Mike White that I saw against the Cincinnati Bengals last year with absolutely no talent whatsoever is a vast improvement over Zach Wilson.
Oh, it doesn't take much, though.
It doesn't. And I'm going to rant about that more this afternoon.
Yes.
The question is, since we're doing a fantasy show, what does that do if Mike White is the starter of the Jets rest of season? Who does that make you feel better about? Who does it make you feel worse about?
It makes me feel better about Tyler Conklin.
I will say that I think it's probably a down tick for me on Tyler Conklin. It's probably a down tick for me on Garrett Wilson. He just couldn't possibly have worked with him much. And look, I think I could throw to Garrett Wilson, and I'm good with that.
Yeah.
It would make me love Michael Carter.
Yes.
Maybe
I'm in
a
on that.
slight downtick on James Robinson. And then
Denzel Mims up?
And then the winner of all winners, Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is like DJ. He's like DJ Moore in reverse. He's been good with every quarterback that he's ever been thrown to by, except Zach Wilson.
Yeah. That's an ugly. Look, you can get Mike White for free right now,
and I think you should.
And if you're a team that is still holding on to Russell Wilson for whatever reason, or you're the Zach Wilson owner in your league and you're thinking, God, what am I doing here? You might want to go grab yourself some Mike White.
I mean, I would much prefer that you grab Deshaun Watson, but
you should. Well, let's be honest. Is Deshaun Watson available in your league? Grab him. If not, do it. Do it. Mike White. Mike White season. I don't see how it can be else.
I don't either. I think it has to be. I think it has to be Mike White, and like I said, that would make me like Michael Carter better, and it would make me like Elijah Moore better.
Sure, I get that.
Any other takeaways for the week? Waivers, anything like that?
Waivers, no. There's look, we're coming up to playoff time. Set yourself up with someone that's going to get opportunity for share. And that's kind of what we're talking about with Treylon Burks. At this point, if you're in the playoffs and you have a guy that's on IR that's not coming back for a few weeks, cut him.
Are you taking the risk on Jameson Williams?
No, because I don't think he plays.
Well, according to them, he's coming back in 2 weeks.
All right.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Probably on a snap count.
I feel very sure he'll be on a snap count. But he is somewhat intriguing in deep leagues.
If he's available in the league you're in and you can drop someone that's on the IR, a Wandale or something, go for it. Take the flyer.
I wouldn't cut a player that is usable, but if you have some roster fodder, then I'm moving on.
Yeah, some Ben Skowronek.
Ugh.
I know. I know. I know.
He had two of the worst drops I think I've ever seen.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did.
Are there players that you're actively pursuing this week?
I'll be honest with you. I'm set. I'm quite happy. Everybody that I've targeted over the past several weeks has now finished their buys. I don't have any late buys that I have to worry about. My favorite thing happened ever in my dynasty league, which is one of the guys was like, I hate this. I don't like the commish. I'm out. Let me know who you want and let's make a deal. And I got myself a Drake London for free. So,
he went full shenanigans.
Yeah, full collusion. He said,
no, you
who do you
never
want?
go shenanigans.
He, to be fair, I made a real offer. So,
those people are the worst.
He was ready to sell. I couldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything super ridiculous, but free Drake London. So I say free. I still gave up a third and another wide receiver, but not a big deal.
Dynasty, baby. I can't emphasize this enough. Chase Kenny Walker this week. Coming off a bye, off a bad week. That's 2 weeks of not front of mind. You might be able to get him for less than you think.
Our trade deadlines have passed in almost every league I'm in.
I'm in several leagues that don't have a trade deadline, which I'm a big fan of. But we also have a trade committee, so if you start doing shenanigans, then away you go.
Yeah. I agree. I'm not one to typically pursue shenanigans, but there was a Drake London sitting on the pile. Well, what do you want me to do?
And I would be remiss if I didn't point out it's firm. It is firmly Josh Palmer season. Let's go.
Oh,
Let's
go.
Absolutely.
How did you feel about the Monday nighter? You happy with the San Francisco split? Was not a big offensive night for basically anybody. That was the most even, like, fantasy relevancy. Everybody basically gets cut in half.
Well, I was very disturbed by something that Cliff Kingsbury said in the postgame. I've actually got the clip right here.
I'm broke as shit, and I don't mind saying it.
That dude needs to go far, far, far away.
He can go back to college. I'm sure there's a...
That team is horror awful.
They got a guy. One guy.
I mean, they are friggin' awful.
What a waste of a, top-tier wide receiver. Total waste.
And DeAndre Hopkins?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a dog. And it doesn't really matter who's throwing to him.
No. He made Colt McCoy look like Colt McCoy should look.
Oh, by the way, ESPN, maybe you should not show Jimmy Garoppolo, who might be the most attractive man on the planet, walking into the stadium in his nicely tailored suit, and then show Colt McCoy that looks like he just jumped off a tractor.
Handsome Jimmy is hard to compete with.
Good God.
Did you see the clip of him at the Warriors game?
Oh, yeah.
Him and CMC and was it Juszczyk was with them?
Oh, if you think I'm an egotistical douche now, if God had made me look like that, I would be insufferable.
Oh, yeah.
And Amy would probably be a lot happier.
Trump wants to know what I would take for Walker. Literally everything. I'm not selling him. I don't know if there's an offer on the table that I would take for Kenny Walker right now.
It would be aggressive. It would have to be aggressive. Chris D said he's in danger of missing the playoffs if he doesn't win this week. Needs Justin Jefferson, Ramondre, and Amondra all to do well on Thanksgiving. Oh, the good thing for you is that I think all three of them will.
How shootouty is that Buffalo-Detroit game going to be?
Oh, I think Buffalo is going to beat their brains out.
If Buffalo's secondary isn't healthy again, I'm wondering if that's our high scorer of the day.
You know what I always look to? I look to the desert.
Yeah.
And the initial line on that game is Buffalo minus 9.5.
Incredible. But the point's 53.5.
Oh, yeah, and I'd take the over.
Buffalo's going to win that game by 100, but I think that there's going to be some points scored.
When the power rankings come out this afternoon, you're going to see a very familiar face at 1.
I have a feeling.
Yeah. I'm tired of playing the game. It's not Minnesota. It's not Philadelphia, who could have lost to the Fighting Jeff Saturdays. The teams at 1 and 2 are the teams that should be 1 and 2.
I bet they're both in the AFC.
Where the hell's the bell? Oh. Damn right they are. You know who's not in the top 5? The Jets suck.
I'm going to go clip Jeremy's rant from this and put it all over the social so that we can share it out and have some fun. You should share the stream out. Don't forget to hit that like, join the House of Reprehensibles, get our fantasy advice all week long. I think we have the Battle for the Belt link coming up shortly.
Oh, yeah, it'll be out today. I've been end of year.
Jeremy's been doing some back end stuff. So unfortunately, not here yet, but give it a minute. It'll be there. And
it's been a lot of printing reports and banging my head against the wall.
Yuck.
Thanksgiving's always fun because everybody wants things and then they don't respond when you send them to them.
It's just called Thursday.
The office. Then why did you ask for it?
It's just called Thursday for me.
Yeah. All right. Anything on the way out, Mr. Armchair?
Congratulations to the Toronto Argonauts, who actually won every Grey Cup they've ever been in for the last, I think it's like a dozen or something years. Every time they show up at the Grey Cup, favored or otherwise, they win it. And my prediction was correct. It was under the 40, I think it was 47. I think it was bang on 47. So
I have to ask, who performed at halftime of the Grey Cup?
A whole bunch of country artists.
Really?
Like the guy from, yes, listen, the Grey Cup is Western Canada, which is like our Texas. So it is all the it was the solo guy from Florida Georgia line.
Tyler Hubbard.
Yes, he was the headliner.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I was going to make a Robin Sparkles joke, but I actually think it's
funnier.
I
wish.
It's funnier that it's the guy from Florida Georgia line.
Yeah, it was Tyler Hubbard, Jordan Davis, and a guy from Ontario named Josh Ross. They're all country artists, though. Everybody was it's in Saskatchewan. It's the West Coast. It's all oil and Carhartt jackets and boots and junk. So
they had the Lumineers last year.
Yeah, they can get axed. It's a long time running.
Oh my God, they had Nickelback in 2011.
Hell yeah, they did.
Oh, so stop! Shut the fuck up. What is the name of Hamilton's field?
Oh, I don't know. What is it?
It's Tim Hortons Field.
Oh yeah. Now it is.
Oh God, I love your country so much.
Listen. Grey Cup. Everybody they'll point to the football. They're saying it's not as good. It's still better than the XFL, and I will die on that.
I would agree with that wholeheartly. Oh, there's Brian Adams. How did I not know Brian Adams had done halftime at a Grey Cup?
It's worth watching sometimes. So, this is the rabbit hole.
God, I love your country so much. I love your country so much because they give you so many opportunities to make jokes, and then they don't get angry when you do.
No, that's not what it's for.
God, I love it. Oh, I love it.
That's it.
All right, we will have Beat the Chief tomorrow. So all of our game picks will be out early. We are taking 3 days off for the Thanksgiving holiday, but we will be back for the live fantasy football show Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For the Canadan David Smith, I am the Mullet Man, Jeremy Greene. We'll be back with Power Rankings at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see you in 3 hours and, 14 minutes.